Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast, where each week we speak with brands, icons, innovators, and trailblazers within the fly fishing industry, exploring both the successes and failures they've encountered along the way to become who they are today. But first, if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast or joined our email list, please do so by going to the flyfisherinsiderpodcast.com, or you can also find us on Instagram at Fly Fisher Insider Podcast. Now let's begin. Welcome to the Fly Fishing Insider Podcast. Today we're speaking with Kaitlin Barnhart, a co-founder of the Mayfly Project. The Mayfly Project is an organization that uses fly fishing to mentor children who are in foster care. Their mission is simple: to support children who are in foster care through fly fishing. Here today to tell us more about the Mayfly Project is Kaitlin Barnhart. Kaitlin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. I'm excited that you're here. It's been a personal goal of mine to get you guys on the show as well. I love what you're doing over there and whatnot. But before we jump into all the great things you are doing, can you let the audience know, or the listeners know, who is Kaitlin Barnhart? A little bit about your past and where your family and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I grew up in Northern California in Northern Idaho, and I got my psychology degree from Pacific Lutheran University, and have always, been outside fishing with my grandparents. And I was fortunate enough to learn fly fishing at a lodge in Alaska that I worked there after college. During college, I worked for CPS, transporting kids in foster care, and I also worked in juvenile detention. So when I first started fly fishing, it really became a sport that I could use to kind of relax from my crazy work and college situation. So fly fishing really became a tool for me to use to decompress from my crazy life. And as I started in the mental health field, I just continued fly fishing and just realized how important fly fishing is and how essential it could be for kids to heal from trauma and to find rest from their difficult lives. So I live in North Idaho. I've got 3 kids. I'm also an outdoor writer, and I just fly fish as often as I can. And the Mayfly Project I call it my 4th baby because it's so important to me, and I'm super proud of it. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
Sounds like you get your hands full as well. I know we were talking off air about going on as well, and you have your hands full as well.
Oh, for sure.
Really quickly though, like North Idaho, what's your home waters, just so I can kind of get an idea as to where exactly you are?
Yeah, I fish the North Fork of the Coeur d'Alene and the Clark Fork and the Kootenai, the St. Joe, all these rivers up here I consider my home rivers. Okay, cool. We're also right on Lake Pend Oreille as well, which is an amazing fishery too.
Nice. I haven't fished any of those places yet. I'd love to get down there and do that. So hopefully I can.
Come on down.
Yeah, we'll have to. So you mentioned that you grew up in a lodge in Alaska, and this I did not know in my research and whatnot. Or you guided it. Like, walk us through what happened up in Alaska.
Yeah, I didn't grow up there. Just after college, I have friends that had a lodge up there, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I do now, like after college? And they invited me to come up there and just like work up there and help serve and that kind of stuff. I had never fly fished before that. And so my first experience fly fishing was in Alaska, which is ridiculous because, you don't even really need to know what you're doing. But we would fish, we'd fish all night long because it was light out, and then we'd serve breakfast, and then sometimes we'd get to go out with the clients if there was extra room on the plane, based out of Iliamna. And so I got to fish like the Nushkak. I got to fish like all these amazing fisheries in Alaska for my first summer learning to fly fish. So from that point, I came back home to Idaho thinking I was awesome at fly fishing, and then realized I sucked and didn't know anything. So I really had to basically learn fly fishing again when I moved back to Idaho. But it was an amazing experience. And yeah, I think about it every day. Alaska is such an amazing place.
Cool. Any plans to go back there anytime soon with the children?
Always. When Jess Westbrook, my co-partner for the Mayfly Project, when we first started talking, he actually guided in Iliamna as well. And so Alaska is very dear to both of our hearts. So we definitely have plans in the future to bring up kids to Alaska, and to just, have that be a place where we can have educational opportunities for kids, and also just to have that time in the wilderness like that. It's so powerful.
Awesome. I love it. We're going to get right into that as well. So
Yeah.
basically, like, approximately, like, how many years after, like, you came back, you're in North Idaho. When did you're sitting there casting on the riverbanks and you're trying to figure it out, and you're like, you know what, I need to start something in fly fishing due to your college education, all that sort of stuff. This is what you chose, the Mayfly Project. But when did that start for you? When did it become real? Like, you obviously, we start thinking about things, and then bang, hey, I'm doing this. Like, walk me through that moment.
Yeah. I first started taking kids in foster care fly fishing probably 5 years after I graduated college, and I was working with a specific kid that actually one of his behavioral goals for case management was to find ways to cope with stress and to find ways to calm down. He had a lot of anger issues, and so in my handbook it said, like, we're not allowed to take kids fishing, but in my mind I was like, this is the best thing for him, because it didn't say fly fishing, so surely I can take him. So I picked him up that morning. We did a bunch of other goals for our day, and then I took him and just started practicing casting with him, and it was really awesome just to see him kind of light up and be excited, and to just not be thinking about a lot of the things that he's stressed about during that time. And so at that point I was like, yes, like, this is so important. Like, just being able to see him light up and be excited was enough for me to realize, like, this is really an important tool for these kids. No, I didn't. The insurance wouldn't let me claim that time with him. Like, I tried to say, like, hey, this is all the stuff it's doing, but as far as like insurance and all that goes, like, they do not support like fly fishing as a therapeutic tool. But I believe we're headed that way. A lot of doctors are now prescribing like fly fishing for patients that have PTSD or other disorders. So I do think we're headed that way. So at that time, I continued to work and started taking kids fly fishing on the side. And then I met up with Jess Westbrook about 4 years ago, and he told me, it was just through social media basically. And he said, hey, I'm taking kids fly fishing in Arkansas. And I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. And so really when I talked to Jess is when I kind of lit that dream of mine to kind of make it become something that we can do together, and we can get kids out fly fishing. So
No, it's
yeah.
definitely kind of cool. It's always that how that sparks, that one kid you took out and you saw those positive results, like, and it sparks something within you, which is kind of phenomenal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Absolutely. So, and obviously having a background
Mm-hmm.
in education in that field, I'm sure you applied what you knew from that into what you're doing with these children, and whatnot. Can you walk me through how that transpired, or how that kind of, like, how your education comes over into the Mayfly Project now?
With the Mayfly Project, we've built the program around um, these main things as far as like conservation and then the mental health benefits of fly fishing for kids. So we've developed a curriculum that has those characteristics. We call it characteristics of an angler, because we don't want the kids to be overwhelmed with all the mental health technology, but or terminology, I mean.
That's really cool.
So
By the way, it's
yeah.
really cool. Like, as a nurse.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so every time we're out, we have our mentors trained to basically kind of point things out. So, like, how did you guys feel when you were fly fishing? Like, were you thinking about all the things that you're stressed about? Like, did you notice, like, when you were frustrated tying that knot, that when you actually got through that knot, you felt good about yourself? And how did you feel when you caught that fish and everybody was running over, like, celebrating with you? So we do try really hard to point out, like, all of the benefits of time outdoors, for one, just like the mental health of, benefits of being outdoors, and then also just time with those mentors is super important. So my drive when I joined the Mayfly Project was to really bring the mental health benefits out and into the world, and to also encourage other people, like, to get into fly fishing too, for that reason. And then also just to bring awareness, like because of my background with foster children, I know how little of an opportunity they have to get outdoors and to be with positive mentors that aren't trying to press them to reach certain goals and that kind of stuff. So when I joined the Mayfly Project, I was like, this is going to be so awesome just to get this awareness about foster kids as well beyond fly fishing.
Definitely really cool. In the mental health aspect, like, the way that you guys are shifting that, like you still have the components there, but the way you're projecting it differently as opposed to like medical terms is just, so good on you. And I mean, that's all these kids hear medical, jargon and this and diagnosis and whatnot, where now you've just done it in a fun but different way. So, a couple of things you mentioned there was, mostly about like mentors and teams and whatnot. Who's on the team at Project Mayfly? Can you share with us some of the people that are involved?
Yeah. Yeah, so Jess Westbrook is the founder of Mayfly Project, and then him and I, we started talking, and at that point on the phone, because he's in Arkansas and I'm in North Idaho, and we started talking, and we're like, could we turn this into a national program? Like, could we do this? And so after many months of talking and networking and talking to various mentoring groups and fly fishing groups, we came up with the National Mayfly Project program. So Jess and I work very hard on Mayfly Project. We do a ton of stuff. And then we've added Heather Seas. She helps us out of Colorado and helps us with some fundraising. And then we've added Molly Simpkins. She helps us with some media and helps us put on events. And then we also have a bunch of our board members that are awesome. And then we also do have some other team members that help us with like checking references and making sure that we're providing the safest mentors for the kids we work with. So it definitely takes a village, and it's definitely, we have an amazing team. Like everybody understands our mission and we're all working so hard just to take Mayfly Project to the next level. And so it's been really amazing to just see it grow and to meet so many awesome people across the country. I think we have over 300 mentors now across the country. So it's pretty amazing.
And I know a lot of people definitely want to get involved with that as well. So, we'll talk about that. Let's look at it from a kid's point of view. Walk me through how a kid signs up, or how, if the parents sign them up, like how is that all? Like, do you reach out to them? Like, how does a kid get a rod in their hands and get to fish? Walk me through how that whole process works.
Yeah, so we network in our local communities to try and find the kids to mentor. Honestly, sometimes that's the hardest part of our project because the kids are so protected. So we work with CASA groups, we work with caseworkers, health and welfare, sometimes teachers. We kind of go through every avenue possible to reach these kids so that we can get them out. But we have them sign up through their caseworker, or we also work with a lot of group homes, because with group homes we found they're excited to get the kids out doing outdoor activities. So so we have a permission form, and the adult in their lives signs them up and commits to transporting them and all that. So that's kind of how we get started. And then
Is the adults, they transport them to the location of where you guys are going to go fishing?
Yes. Usually we'll have, when we work with the group homes, it's nice because they'll transport the kids and then they're also there with the kids. So we're there to just have fun with them. And then we have the staff there to also help with the kids. So we also have some projects where the foster parents transport the kids and the foster parents hang around or are there too if we need them. So our goal is for the kids to feel completely comfortable with the situation, emotionally and physically safe. So we try to do everything we can to provide that. So a lot of the times we'll have the staff there until the kids are comfortable with us and understand our safety rules and all that. Yeah, so it's worked really well, like our system, because sometimes we'll have foster parents there that'll actually get involved as well, and we'll end up teaching them how to fly fish, which means like they'll end up taking their foster kid fly fishing too. So there's a lot of
That was my next question. I was going to ask if that transitioned over to becoming now a family affair and whatnot, which is kind of cool. I mean, because then it's not a one-time thing, if it is a one-time thing, but it's just, you know what I mean? At least now it's like, hey, let's encourage it. We can do this together and build that family unity as well. So again, really cool. So
thank you. Yeah.
Before I move on to another topic, I want to talk about the early day challenges. Everything sounds great with what you're doing, but I am willing to bet, my paycheck here, that everything that you built so far did not come without its challenges. Can you walk us through a few of those challenges that you might have faced earlier on?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We're still in the challenges. We always will be, but no, it's taken just so much time and dedication, honestly. Like, Jess and I both have other jobs. And so when we first started, I, I'd work like during the day, and then I'd come home, like get my family all taken care of. And then I'd work till at least midnight every night on Mayfly Project, just processing mentors, like just making sure that we're, building all of our handbooks, and we do everything big. So we want to make sure that everything is going perfectly. And so it takes a lot of work to just network and talk to people, and really to just sell people at the beginning on what we were doing, as far as like these kids like need us. That was the first step, was like these foster children, they actually like need us to step up and fill this gap that is missing. And then after that, our goal is obviously like training all of our mentors and making sure that we're providing the safest and most fun projects possible. So so definitely early on, just trying to get that awareness of what we were doing, and then also just proving to the fly fishing community and everyone that we're following through on this, and that we're actually changing kids' lives, and the ball is rolling. And so those early times are definitely difficult, just getting all that going. But now we're going on to our fifth year, and it's just really cool to just see all the different people and companies that are coming together to support Mayfly Project. So it's been an amazing ride, but it's been super fun. And working with Jess, like we're first strangers when we first started working together, and now I've met our families are friends, and he's like one of my best friends ever. He's so good. He's just so good at what he does with the Mayfly Project, and we just work really well together. Like he handles mostly the business side, and then I work mostly with the mentor side of things. So it's been awesome to just see it all kind of come together. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you guys have a great work relationship there, and it's what's making it so successful, and whatnot. And it allows you guys to focus in different areas to cover different ground, which is super important as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, speaking of focus, I know you said you've been focused. You guys have been going for 4 years now, and you've been going strong for 4 years. How is the project gaining new participants? Like, how are you expanding? Is exactly what I'm trying to ask you.
Yeah, well, we've expanded just naturally, honestly. Like we've never asked anybody to put on a project. We've never tried to track down lead mentors. We get emails and calls from people that are excited about what they're doing, and they'll say, "Hey, like, how can we bring this to where we're at?" And at that point, we go through an interview process and all types of processes, and we build a project with those that we choose, basically. So, and then once the lead mentors are in place, then it's their job to kind of find mentors to join their team, and we help.
Kaitlin,
Yeah.
Kaitlin, I think I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to ask you this. So, like you said, working with people or lead mentors and whatnot, like how does one become a lead mentor? Like walk us through that whole process. Like, let's say I wanted to start I'm in a different country, so I don't know if that's going to work, but let's say I was in the United States, right? And I wanted to start my own like Project Mayfly or my project. Like how would we go about doing that? Like, do we reach out to you? Walk us through that process in case any listeners are thinking.
Yeah. So we're only starting 5 projects a year now, just because we've grown so quickly. So building a new project is a little bit competitive now. So in order to start a project, you would first send me an email, or you can submit an application on our website that says there's actually an application for starting a new project. And then once that application comes to us, then Jess and I set up a call, and we'll talk with you about, what does this actually mean? Like, what is our purpose and goals? And like, we get to know each other, because there is a lot of communication that goes on with the project build. So we get to know each other, and then we check references, and we do all kinds of checks. And then at that point, we'll choose your project, if that's going to be the one that we're going to start. And then we work with you to build that project. We have like lead mentor training materials. We have videos. We do lead mentor calls every month too, to train our lead mentors and make sure everybody is moving forward in the correct way. So and then I work with all of our lead mentors to find kids to mentor too, because in every state the foster care system is so different, and I'm sure in Canada too.
Yeah.
So we work with them to try and figure out like what are the systems there, like where are the kids, and how can we make this work. So it definitely takes a lot of work and communication and community involvement to get a project going. But yeah, once it's up and running and we get to see the kid, we get pictures of the kids fishing and all these amazing stories. Like it is amazing. It's so cool to just see it all come together. If
No,
that makes sense.
it totally makes sense. I just picture a lot of red tape that you are crossing and going through and working hard and advocating and being a voice for these children.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I just picture that, and unfortunately it's not as easy as someone thinks. So now I kind of get why you only do 5 projects a year, because of the dedication on that. So let me ask, how many children, well, I love facts. So
Yeah.
how many children to date have gone through the project, through the program total, in the 4 years? And then
Mm-hmm.
how many children do you usually see annually on your projects? Yeah, I'd love to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so by 2020, because we still have some projects that are wrapping up through the end of November, so we'll have reached 500 kids in foster care
Perfect.
by
Wow.
2020. Yeah, and so in every year, because we're adding projects, and then the projects from previous years are continuing. So we do, like for example, in Colorado, we had 4 projects this last 2 years. So every year, every state, every project is one project. So yeah, so every year our numbers are growing. We started out with 25 kids mentored, and
Hmm.
this year we've mentored 200. So yeah, it's definitely growing quickly, and yeah, it's great to see all these kids getting out. And like I said, we have over 300 mentors now because we have a 1-to-1 mentor ratio per kid. So we want to make sure every kid has their own mentor to learn fly fishing and to just get that attention as well.
Hmm.
So we have safety policies around that as well. So every kid has their own mentor, but we're also in groups teaching and learning together.
Okay.
So, and that's actually their favorite part is
The group work.
obviously fly fishing and catching fish, but their other favorite part is just having their own mentor there to get that attention and somebody there to encourage them. And a lot of times when kids are in group homes like that, they don't get that one-on-one attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
we definitely love that about the Mayfly Project because sometimes we'll have way more mentors than we have kids. Which is really unique for nonprofits actually, because a lot of times it's really hard to find mentors to work with kids, and so it is pretty neat to see all these adults just taking time off on their weekends to help these kids, and it means so much to them too to just see all these people there.
absolutely. So I was going to ask you, is there an average age range for the kids that come through? Like,
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we work with kids over 9 is our typical age range. We've had the most success with teenagers, obviously, because it becomes, in some way, it turns into their identity in sometimes and becomes something they can really latch on to. Like we've had stories of kids getting off work and running to the lake, to go fly fish. It's like what they do now, and which we love to hear those stories. But the younger kids, they love it too. Like they just love, they're not as crazy about the actual fishing part. Like a lot of the times we're looking at bugs, like we're throwing rocks, like we're meeting them where they're at, but they're still having a really awesome time outdoors. And they still learn all about fly fishing. But the older kids definitely grasp it quicker, obviously, and it becomes something special to them.
do you have this statistic? Has any like person that's gone through your program turned around and become a mentor yet?
Not yet, but we do have some kids that have joined us for a second year.
Okay.
We've had some kids in Arkansas that have gone on to like the TU camp, conservation camp in Virginia, and are actually, one of them is going to go into like a field of conservation for education just based off of
Wow.
his experience with Mayfly
Yeah.
Project. And yeah, so yeah, and that is kind of the harder part about Mayfly Project is because a lot of the kids, they move on, they either move back home or other
Mhm.
places. So we don't get a ton of information back, but the cool thing is we'll have a mentor call us and say, hey, guess who I saw on the river today? It's like, oh my goodness, they're out there fly fishing. Like, that's amazing. So
How does that feel? Like how does that feel when you get that call? Like, tell me how
oh
that
my
feels.
goodness. Yeah, it's the best thing in the whole world because we're so like head down working so hard that when we get those calls, it's just like fuel for us. It's just like, oh yeah, like
Isn't
this
it?
is, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Or we get mentors or lead mentors will send us like quotes and things that they heard from the kids. And like one of the kids recently said, this is like the best day I've ever had in my life, and that quote to
Yeah.
me is like that it just reaffirms everything that we're doing and how important it is that we get these kids out.
Wow, just so cool. Super cool. You know what, Kaitlin, sounds like you guys have got like so many goals and whatnot and some positive outcomes. What are some other goals that the project would like to accomplish going forward?
We have several goals. We always have to slow down because we have so much we want to accomplish. So we're definitely in a phase right now of stabilizing all of our projects and looking for more further funding opportunities so that we can still have our staff, being able to work full time and that kind of stuff. So with as far as goals like fundraising, networking in our local communities and further trying to get out into the world like what we're doing and why it's important. And we eventually would love to have like a scholarship situation for kids in foster care to go on to college for a conservation minded field. We have so much we'd like to accomplish. So, but yeah, Jess and I are both dreamers, so we're always thinking of ways that we can help foster kids, and so we're trying to keep it very narrow right now, so we can just stabilize what we're doing and make sure that all of our projects are getting everything they need. So yeah, we're working on right now some trauma-informed care training, and we also have a part of our program where we help kids find adoptive homes. So we shoot videos with them, doing like some fly fishing expedition. So we've had, I think, 4 kids adopted from some of our videos that we've made. So that's another goal of ours, is to do more videos to get more kids adopted. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. No, that's like it's a lot to take in. I mean, most people their average goal is, oh, I want to go travel somewhere. But I mean, you guys you're saving lives, in a way,
Thank you.
right?
Yeah, it is so fun. And then also, I forgot to mention, we do like our conservation initiative. The last 2 years, we've been working with some environmental scientists and trying to figure out the best way to educate the kids that are in our care on taking care of the environment and just building that connection for conservation purposes. So we have a new like incentive program. So the kids, if they clean up a river or help protect against invasive species, they get to earn a button. And it's all in our curriculum, so we walk them through that. So our goal is for them to, also join in a cycle of healing, I call it, just because when they see us.
How many
Oh, go ahead.
how many buttons are there?
I think.
How many buttons are there?
Yeah, I think we have 10. I'm like not
That's like a,
yeah, because we
that's like
have.
a whole program in itself, right? Like that's a whole program in
Yeah.
itself that you guys.
Yeah,
Wow,
they
like
earn a button if they tie a fly too, or if they tie a knot or learn casting, or we have a button that says I love bugs, basically, if they learn to, check out
yeah,
microinvertebrates, that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it's really, we just rolled that out this year. So it's been a really awesome addition to the program because the kids
super cool.
love to get those buttons. And
Of course they do. Of
yeah,
course they do. It's a
yeah.
really cool, yeah.
And it's
Wow,
neat, yeah.
wow.
So it's been really neat to see that, because we want the kids to know also just like the environment is theirs, and like these public
Mhm.
lands. When the kids learn that these are lands that places they can go, like for a foster kid to know there's a place they can go is super powerful. Like it's a place that it can be theirs. If they take care of it and fall in love with it, like it's their place. So that's another goal of ours too, is just to make sure that connection is being built there, because that's our home. Like Jess and I
Mhm.
always talk about, like rivers are our home. Wherever we go, like we're googling like where is the nearest river, like where can we
Yeah.
fish, and so for foster kids to kind of identify with and connect with rivers and places they can fish, I think it's huge for foster children.
Well, it's absolutely huge, and like you said, a place that they can go, a place that they can feel comfortable and themselves at is like, half the battle right there, believe it or not, especially in the
Hmm.
mental health aspect as well. So, the fly fishing industry is known to be extremely generous and affiliated with sponsorships and donations of
Hmm.
goods. Is there anyone in the industry that that has like, and I'm sure there's more than one, people in the industry that have helped you out that we could like talk about, or is it just everyone in general? Yeah, let's get on that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. One of our biggest partners is Cortland. They've helped us with tons of fly fishing gear and have always kind of stepped up when we've
Hmm.
needed them to donate gear or provide us a discount. And then we work with, Native, Smith Fly, TFO, Adipose, Flyvines.
Hmm.
Compass 360 is like a wader company, and they've helped donate waders for some of our kids. And Holly Flies is another great. They donate flies for some of our events, and yeah, and Bass Pro Shops. I mean, there's a lot. And you're right, like the fly fishing industry has been very supportive of the Mayfly Project and excited about what we're doing. So, and then beyond that, just as far as like the women's group support group has been
Hmm.
awesome too. Like Orvis 50/50, like Jen Ripple, Jerry Meyer, Heather Hodson, a lot of these, Marianne Dozer, a lot of these ladies that have been trying to get more women into fly fishing. That's another part of the Mayfly Project too that I'm really proud of is we do get a lot of girls out fly fishing. Like we have on our teams, we try to
Hmm.
have 50/50 like men and women just because the kids, it's cool for the kids to see, women out fishing too. So yeah, there's been amazing support, and we always say it takes a village because it really does. Like we couldn't do it without the support of all these companies and organizations that are really helping us, and Trout Unlimited as well. We've had several TU groups in local towns like help us sponsor a kid or provide waiters or tying materials. So yeah, it's definitely been amazing to
Yeah,
see.
it sounds like it. Sounds like you do have that village behind you and whatnot. So, but let me ask you right now, how can someone get involved with you guys right now, and in what way could they help you out right now? Even the podcast, how could we help you out? How could a listener who's sitting there hearing your story, hearing these amazing accomplishments that you have done, say, "Hey, I want to get involved. I want to help out. I want to give back. I'm for this cause." How could I do that right now instantly? Walk us through that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So we need help with mentoring, obviously. Like I can, you can get on our website and see where we have projects, but we also need help just sponsoring kids to be in the program. So it costs $780 per kid to join the Mayfly Project. So our goal for next year is to have as many children
Sorry, how
sponsored
much
as
does it cost
possible.
again?
So 780. And so, yeah, so we've had companies that have said, like, I want to sponsor a kid. And so then, yeah, you can do that. Like, companies can sponsor, families can sponsor a kid, come together and sponsor a kid to be in the project. And then we also just any fundraising opportunities. We're always looking for foundations to connect with too that would love to support what we're doing. And we're always just looking to network with other companies and organizations that care about foster children too. So yeah, I think just networking and bringing in support is huge for us, and just sharing what we're doing as well is very
Mhm.
helpful. We do take gear donations as well, like as far as waiters, um, that kind of stuff too that we can use. And then we have some auctions as well that we run throughout the year to try and raise funds. So we just completed our One Fly event, but next year we're looking for donations of items and trips and that kind of stuff to support those
And
auctions.
that could be through, like, lodges or just anyone reaching out to you guys saying, "Hey, I have a trip. Can we auctions?" Is there a
Yeah.
specific time that you auction stuff off, or is it, like, every May? Like, walk us through that.
Yeah, we usually kick off our One Fly event around May. It's Foster Care Awareness Month, and so we try to kick it off then, and it goes until September, our One Fly auction. But we do have several other events that we have that we need auction items as well. So we have a two fly tournament coming up end of October and there'll be auction items there as well.
Cool.
So the bigger we get, the more auctions we're having and fundraising opportunities across the country. So we're always looking for support and people that want to get
And I
involved.
noticed when I was on your website, you have merchandise as well. I saw a nice picture or a sticker of you that is sold out. But
Yeah, that's great.
I thought I'd bring that up. I saw that. I'm like, well, what type of coworkers would do that? You must have a good environment. So, um,
Oh, we do. Yeah, we give each other
I
heck all
bet,
the
I
time.
bet.
So.
So you're gonna have to turn that around on someone else. But I noticed you had some stickers and a few other items for sale. Now, do the proceeds of that go towards the children as well, or is it just towards the project in general?
That goes towards the project, which goes
Hmm.
towards the children. Yeah. Yeah, we have shirts and all kinds of stuff. We also have a benefit rod that we
Hmm.
did with TFO that will be coming out soon. It's got a Mayfly Project logo on it, and yeah, it's an awesome rod. So yeah, we're always finding ways to build. We're going to be building that as well the next year, just adding cool swag and all kinds of stuff. So Mayfly Project gear, and we try and come up with new stickers as well. So
Nice. Is the logo have any symbolicness to it, or is there anything we should know about the logo?
Andrew Alarco did our logo. It was just thinking he'd take kids fly fishing in Arkansas at that time, and he really wanted a cool logo. So he reached out to Andrew Alarco, and she came up with that awesome Mayfly logo, which actually is what I saw on Facebook. And I asked her what this was for because I was so
Hmm.
drawn to it. And she said, "Oh, it's this guy in Arkansas that's taking foster kids fly fishing." And I messaged her and I was like, "Can you please put me in touch with this guy? Like, I need to talk
Wow.
to him." So the logo is important to us just because it's kind of brought us together and kind of where the Mayfly Project sprung out, the national
Is that how you
program.
guys
So
met? Like through social media?
yeah, yeah, just through Andrew
Yeah.
Alarco with the logo actually. Yeah, so it's pretty funny. I messaged him and I said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," and then he said, "I need to talk to you on the phone." And then I think we talked for 2 hours. I think the first
Yeah.
time, and then just kept, we were speaking the same language. Everything we were saying, we were like, "Yeah, this is what I'm doing." So that's kind of how it sprung out as far as our national
Super
program.
cool. Super cool for sure. So how important is social media to your brand then?
It's super important. I would say 90% of our mentors and lead mentors have come from Facebook or Instagram because they see what they're doing and they share it with their friends and it comes back to us. So that's actually my favorite question when I start talking to new mentors
Hmm.
because Jess and I interview every single mentor that joins the Mayfly Project, and I always say, "Hey, how'd you find out about us?" And it's always like social media usually. So yeah, and social media, and then just trade shows or different shows that we try to go to. We get most of our
And what are
mentors.
some of the ways you guys are advertising? Are you advertising on social media at all, or is it not really? Is it more just like pictures of on the river and a great day and a great event?
Yeah, we're not advertising. We have our Facebook
Hmm. Of
page basically that we update and trying to provide as much information as we can. Um, Sometimes it's hard because we cannot take pictures of the majority of the kids that
course,
we
yeah, of
work with.
course, yeah.
So we try to find creative ways to let the world know like what we're doing and all of that. So yeah, so we're still pretty young as far as we're built, so focused on building the project that our as far as like marketing and really trying to go after, target sponsoring and all that. We're still young, so we're headed
Hmm.
that way. But yeah, we just naturally a lot of our following and all that has just become naturally as far as people just sharing and telling their friends to join us.
Cool. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I got a few
Hmm.
questions. I'm just uh, if money was no object for you guys, what would you like to see happen for this dream of yours and for this project? Like, if money was no object, sky's the limit. What would you like to see happen?
I would love to see just more kids out fishing, honestly. I'd love to have also have something for specific for kids that are aging out of foster care as far as like
Hmm.
trips for them. And I'd love to have an opportunity. It's in the near future, hopefully, but we'd like to have events where we get together with all of our lead mentors and do training and, get to meet everybody and go out to all of our projects to be a part of those. So, yeah, there's so much we could do, and it would be amazing. So, I think beyond just like getting our projects further stabilized and stuff, I think also with more money we could provide better experiences for the kids, or improved experiences for the kids too, like getting more kids out doing the fly fishing videos and just putting more effort into trying to help find foster families and find forever families for kids that are up for adoption too. And just to bring a voice, I'd love to, I think if we had further funds, we could help bring a voice to the world for these foster children that are going through such a chaotic time, for them to be able to find their identity in fly fishing and to just be a part of that community.
Absolutely. You guys you are dreamers, but I think it's all doable. In fact, I know it's doable. It just sounds so amazing. So, with that said, I know you know, you have so much energy and passion in your voice, and I can see it on my audio spiking up when you're talking here about this project. So it's just funny. Where do you get this energy from?
Oh, it's just amazing. Like, I just love what we get to do. Like, it's such an honor to get to do this. And I'm so passionate, obviously, about fly fishing, but I'm the one that gets to see like all the pictures of the kids out having a wonderful time. And that it really does provide a lot of energy for me because I believe so much in what we're doing. And I believe that foster kids need this. So, yeah, and I mean, I've worked with so many foster kids in my life, but for them to see the world kind of responding to their need to be outdoors it's almost like a door opening for me, and it's super exciting. So, yeah, I get very excited.
Is your own family are your kids? Do they get involved as well, or?
Yeah. My husband is very supportive. Obviously, he puts up with a
Yeah.
lot of late nights and all kinds of stuff. He's amazing. And my kids like to fly fish too. In the last project I did, I included them as well. I have 3 kiddos, and so I kind of would rotate them through. So I'd bring whichever kid wanted to go, but and they love it. Like they have so much fun with the kids too, and they try to make it special as well for the foster kids too. So we will sometimes we'll build a fire and make s'mores, and we try to find creative ways to just make the experience really fun. So I love having my kids involved in it because it's something they like to do too, and we get to do it as a family. So yeah, I love it. And my mom is also very supportive. She helps me with my kids and stuff too when I have to travel for Mayfly Project events. And then my sister Kyla does a lot of our photography up here, and so it's definitely a family affair. Mayfly Project has just become something we all do together, and that goes for Arkansas as well. Like Jess's family is huge, like such great supporters, and they help us like with packaging and all kinds of stuff. So it's great. Yeah.
Crazy. You know what, Kaitlin? Your story is so inspiring already. Do you have any last words for our listeners?
No, thank you so much for, just listening about the Mayfly Project. And we do have several new projects that are coming up this next year. The 5 projects that we've chosen are we're going to have our first salt project in Florida. We've got another project in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, another project in Missouri, Southwest Virginia, West Michigan, New Mexico. Those are going to be some of our newer projects this next
Awesome.
year. So, there's a lot of opportunities to get involved and help us support foster kids. So we couldn't do it without everyone's support. So we really appreciate it.
Perfect. And if someone wanted to get involved or just to look you guys up in general, where would they go to?
Yeah, our website is just themayflyproject.com. And then on Instagram, we're just at the Mayfly Project. And you can email me, Kaitlin, Kaitlin, at the Mayfly Project, or Jess, Jess. So, we get emails all the time with people that just want to chat and hear what we're doing, and or that want to talk about starting a project. We have been talking with someone in Canada about starting a project in 2021 as well. So we're hoping to get to Canada eventually.
I really hope you do
Yeah.
too. But in the meantime, Canadians, you can support south of the border, and that's fine. So absolutely, right? There's no point in waiting. Let's just get
Yeah.
on it. So for sure, that's what's actually going to drive you up here. Is
Yeah.
if the success is down
Awesome.
there, it's going to come up here across the border, which is exactly what we want. So Kaitlin, you've inspired myself. You inspired 500 other kids. You've done so much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a guest here. It's such a great interview. So there's so much to learn from you guys. So I know we're actively going to get involved with you somehow or some way on a level. I'm just trying to. My wheels are turning, so that's my commitment to you guys for sure. So I do want to thank you for being on the show. I'm going to make sure I put all your contact details in our show notes. I definitely want to thank the listeners as well. So thank you guys for listening to the Fly Fishing Insider podcast. Make sure you reach out to Kaitlin if you are interested in getting involved with the projects or learning more about the projects. So, all right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Greg, for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.